Okay, so this is Encore Lesson 89. We're talking about statistical questions and how are we analyzing data and using that in the real world. So a statistical question is a question about a set of data that can change. So the focus that we want is we're taking a couple different points, whether that's polling students in a classroom or maybe collecting numbers of cars through a stop sign in every afternoon this week. We're collecting data over a period of time, and we take all of those together and we answer a statistical question. So to answer the statistical question, you need to collect and look at all the pieces of data and how they relate to each other, which is very important. So we're looking at Jack's homework right now, and we have how many times did Jack spend longer than an hour on homework this week? Hopefully none of you are spending longer than an hour on your homework, but that's a statistical question. So Jack is unlikely to do homework for the same amount every day. So we have pieces of observable data that are going to vary. So whether he does 15 minutes of homework today, or he does 25 minutes of homework tomorrow and 2 hours on Wednesday or whatever it would be, the time is not going to be exactly the same. Then we're comparing those pieces of data. So since he's unlikely to do the same amount of homework each day, the question asks about the set of data of the homework that he's done, and you can answer it by comparing it over a week. So what does that look like? Well, how long did Jack do homework today? That's not comparing a set of data over time. That's just looking at one day. So the question, how many times did he spend longer than an hour on homework this week, compares all the different days of the week and how he did his homework. So if we had the school's cafeteria, think about what we could change about the school's cafeteria. Well, maybe they served chicken today, and they served hamburgers tomorrow, and then they served chicken pot pie. Well, maybe we would ask a statistical question like, how many days this month did the cafeteria serve chicken? So we're looking at data, observable data of serving chicken, which isn't the same every day, and then we're looking at it over a period of time, which would be a month. So if we come down a little bit lower on the sheet here, and let's look at a couple of examples. So one of these is a statistical question and one of them is not. Statistical questions based on statistics, that's data. So how many people flew from New York to San Francisco yesterday? That is not a statistical question because it's only looking at one day. You're looking at one piece of information. How many people flew on one day? But how many people flew from New York to San Francisco each day this month? We're looking at the piece of data, the same observable piece of data, and comparing it over the entire month. B is your answer there. So if we were to move down and let's just say, well, let's look at number 2 and then we'll move to number 3. There's a whole second worksheet to this. How many siblings does each of your classmates have? Or how many siblings does your best friend have? Well, my best friend is only one person, whereas my classmates are several people. So my best friend does not constitute the statistical question. How many siblings do each of your classmates have? Every single one of my classmates is different, and their answers are going to be different. Then we're comparing them together, and that gives us our statistics. So Hannah recorded the temperature in her yard every day for a week. Well, what's a statistical question we could have? And you'll have different answers here. But one statistical question I could think of would be, how many days this week? So several days over a period of time. How many days this week was Hannah's yard over 80 degrees? Question mark, that's a question. So how many days this week was Hannah's yard over 80 degrees? We're taking data collected over several days and we're comparing it together to come up with a question that we can answer based on that data.